record. I just want to let everybody know I just started recording so that we could post it on the web. Hi, good afternoon.
Pat, sorry. Pat, are you still having problems opening the attachments?
Yeah, but I'm going to try to get it another way because I can print my own attachments, but it wouldn't let me print what Michelle sent this afternoon or Sue Ellen. So, because what I received, the attachments I received, I printed them yesterday. If she sent something today, I did not get that at all.
I didn't send anything today. Did I send anything? I didn't send anything to you yesterday.
I sent you 2 emails. So Ellen sent you it, and then you said you didn't get it, so I resent them to you as well. You might just see Michelle and everybody else's name, but it was from me.
Yeah, okay. Let me see what I can do here. I'm trying to get it, see if I can load it up from my cell phone. It won't even load from my cell phone, so something else is going on here.
Okay, so I just wanted to put on the just so we have it on the record and the recording is that today is, sorry, you had the agenda up. Today is October the 1st, 2024. This is the meeting of the Board of Elections. No, this is the wrong. I have the Board of, sorry, the Board of Elections Supervisors. We don't have the right name again, right? The Board of Supervisors of Elections.
Board of Supervisors of Elections. Sorry.
Yeah, so
this is the old agenda.
The agenda is wrong. Yeah, so I just want to make sure that we're talking about the same thing. So that it is 3 p.m. And this is a virtual meeting. And Chair Williams, would you like to call us to order?
Yes, I don't have the agenda in front of me, but today is Tuesday, October 1st,
You want to just
2024, 3:04 p.m. I'm calling the meeting to order. Let's see. Members of the Board of Supervisors, please state your name for the record.
Elizabeth Saunders. Lundy.
Okay, one more time. I think you overlapped. One of you overlapped. Elizabeth, would you repeat your name again, please?
Elizabeth Saunders.
Ms. Lundy?
Yes, Carlotta Lundy, present.
And this is Pat Williams. I believe we have the town attorney, Sue Ellen.
Sue Ellen Ferguson, yes.
Yes, okay. And then we have Michelle Hedgepeth.
That's the town administrator here, present.
And Regine?
Regine Watson, town clerk.
Thank you very much. Okay, but first on the agenda, we've been called to order. We will do the review of the internal procedures. The approval candidate handbook is first.
Okay, sorry, I went, my signal went out for a second. Yeah, there's a review of, okay, no problem. I think it's the town when we're all having issues today a little bit. Review of the internal procedures that were put together. I'd like to, if it's possible, Chair, is to allow our attorney, Sue Ellen Ferguson, to kind of talk. I'm sorry, we had a lag on our system.
Yeah. So. Are we going to do the candidate packet first?
I believe that's the one. I believe that's the one that you might want to start with first, Sue Ellen. Would you like to start there?
Yeah. Regine, do you want
if you'd like to share, or Regine, are you going to share?
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I'm just trying to get it up. Everything went out. Sorry. 1 second.
You're gonna need to enable editing. I'll do that too.
It just went away again.
Right here.
Perfect.
So do you know where you want to start?
Yes, the first change that I made would be on page 5. This is a little hard to see.
Is that better?
Yes, it is. Under number 2, this isn't really substantive, it's just the Q&As can't come in from the candidate, only questions come in. So we're going to post the Q&As that have resulted from candidate inquiries. I'm suggesting that change. It's not, big time, but it better reflects what's going on. Okay, then the next change comes pages later.
Campaign signs and other political matters?
Yep, just making sure. It looks like that's where it is. Page, I think 12, is it? Up on? Yeah.
Yep.
On page 12. We had talked about this last time. There is no right to have anything in the town rights of way. So we already say that. Can't do it. We can add in rights of way, I guess, town property or rights of way. And then get rid of the rest of B. And then under county and state roads, I think I would just give them the list of what the county and state roads are, and then just say, you're gonna want to get in touch with those folks about putting anything in their rights of way. Okay, and not take on the job of telling them what they should do on other government's roads. Like I said, last time, like College Park took over formally from the state the jurisdiction to remove signs from state rights of way, but you haven't done that, right? So you're gonna have to send everyone to them anyway. So that's why I would suggest getting rid of all that. And then to go to page 14, attribution statements. I don't think section 44.3 says describes all of the ways in which there are communications. So I've just changed that a little bit and just indicated what the most common forms are.
Okay.
And then, all right. Frequently asked questions. These show up separately and they also show up at the end of this document. So I'm just sticking with the end of this document, and if they get put out separately, that's fine. But for the purposes now, I'm just making the edits here. Okay. And to go through that, I think we should, that when there is a yes or a no, we should say it first. And so that's there. And this first one combines number 1 about the type of form, and also number 10, which is whether it has to be signed in the original. So we answer both of those in this one.
Okay.
Now down, when we get under number 3, right, I didn't get rid of there's some, a few letters missing under 3, second paragraph, Board of Supervisors of Elections. Doesn't have all the letters it needs.
Okay, I'll fix it.
Okay,
Okay.
are they presented at the first regular council meeting after the election? The results?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and so an official winner isn't declared until that point?
Yes, that's what my understanding was, is that the council is the one who certifies. Remember from what we did last year? I'm sorry, last year that was the council did the official ceremonial certification,
Yeah,
correct?
and actually, this doesn't really answer number 3. It looks like there's a question missing. When are the results available / official?
We also post,
I do know that.
didn't we post a copy of the election results the night of, when we have them? That's what I would say. They're posted
Yes.
on the door. So
Mhm.
we could add that. Can you put that in there and then just determine that? I'm sorry, Miss Lundy.
And that's okay. I'm sorry too. I think we also posted at the website as well, the unofficial, and then later on after the council meeting, I think they posted official.
I agree.
But
I
it's
think that's
also
what it is.
posted at the town's website.
I agree.
Okay, so we should make a number 4. When are election results available? And then the answers are ballots cast on election day are tabulated after the polls close. And then we're going to add in where the unofficial results are available. Will be posted.
When are election results available?
Will be posted. Well, it depends on where they are. They're posted on the town website. Where else are they?
They're also on the door of the council chambers. They're posted on the west door.
Okay,
they're
council chambers door.
Yeah, I would say posted conspicuously at town hall. Does that make sense?
Okay. So they will be posted on the town's website and let's just say at town hall.
The town hall. Yeah, it's like something like
Yeah.
that. Like, yeah.
Unofficial
It should be shouldn't it be at the polling and at the door of the polling location?
Well, there's only one polling location, which is town hall.
I know,
right.
but
I think
I would stick with, and people know it more like town hall than
town
polling
hall, not a polling
location.
location. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then we would leave in there the Board of Supervisors of Elections. Okay. Presents the official results. Okay. And then do I need a treasurer? I tried to clean these up a little bit better, and these next couple of ones. It looks like numbering's off. Do I need a treasurer? I think the answer to that is yes. If you intend to accept cash or in-kind contributions, you have to designate another person as the treasurer. Okay. If you don't intend to accept that, you can serve as your own. Okay. But you need a treasurer, right? Right. Okay. Then as a candidate, should I form a political action or a political committee? To raise funds is not a requirement, is an option, which it is. You don't need one, and that's one of the things we want to make clear in this answer, is that you do not need a political committee to raise funds. As long as you have a treasurer, you can raise funds. And then the numbers that were in there were incorrect. Because this got taken, I think, from College Parks, which is an old one. But it's $500 now for somebody running for council, and $1,000 if you're running for mayor, because of the fact that that's an at-large position. That's what the law says anyway, but that's why. So, are there any questions about that change? Those changes? And then just to be sensitive to how people want to be referred to these days, we can just say their intention and they, and then we avoid all the
That's a good idea.
other conversations. Okay. And then I removed the part about the town ethics commission has issued an opinion, but I left in that incumbents should not distribute their official town provided business cards as part of the mass distribution of material for campaign activities. Okay. I think if somebody asks for your card while you're out there because they want to tell you that there's something wrong in the neighborhood, you can take it, you can hand your card in, but it shouldn't be done as a part of handing out your campaign materials. And then number 10, we don't need because we've answered that up in number 1. Okay. And there's your campaign contribution limits right underneath there. Which are from the code. And you can see your council candidate and then to the mayor and then for after elections. So that's fine. That's from the code. If you want to go down a little further there.
That's it.
That's it. Okay, good. All right. So those are the comments. I think with that, this piece should be done. Like done.
Unless anybody has any other comments to make.
Thank you. Thank you, Sal. That is amazing that you said
Done.
done and done. Thank you.
Does anybody else have any comments on the candidate guide?
I think you should ask again.
No,
Okay.
No more comments, okay?
No.
no, and I'm stationary now, so I'm with you guys. All right.
So next,
Okay. Now we go to internals, and that's where there's
Thank you,
some
Sue
makeup.
Ellen. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
and I think our next one is the internal policies.
Yeah.
You talking about the internal procedures guide?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, got you.
All right, sharing now.
Have we started?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay, cool.
Okay. Yeah, this got added in. This timeline looks like it was done. It's like in past tense parts of it, you know?
Okay, so
Um,
what it was it was a timeline that I found. I guess the previous clerk had done it. It
Mhm.
pretty much it was kind of like I apologize. I did leave some of the wheres and where, but I did change some of them. I guess it was like a timeline of how they did it. This is an internal policy. I included it with all the new dates in it and the different
Mhm.
things that we talked about, Michelle and I, and some of the concerns that we heard in the past. So some of these dates, like where you ask, where is this required? Like the candidate bio, it's not a requirement. It's something that we're doing in advance to get people to give their bios in time so that we're not waiting and these things are done internal so we can get things out earlier.
Okay,
Exactly.
well, you haven't, nothing about that is in your candidate book.
No,
And I
because
don't,
this is
I don't
internal.
know. Well, the candidates should know if they're supposed to put in a bio too. You should put that somewhere.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
you might be right.
We
I
could put it
also-
in there. I totally agree. We could put it in there, but I will let you guys know this these couple of lines will change every year because depending on what we learn, because remember, this is an internal policy. So when we're doing bios, it's really for our newsletter. It's really for things like, you know, getting them out there. So it's not a requirement like in the candidate handbook, which has to be official. That's just my opinion. But again, we could do whatever you and Sue Ellen and Michelle, you guys think is best. But it's just more like, okay, for this next election, these are the dates that we're going to go by. And then next year we can change them as time goes.
Well,
This is more
that's
for
true.
internal.
All right,
Yeah,
so
that's true. It's just if you're gonna give candidates an opportunity to include a bio, so that is gonna show on the, website or anything, that should be in the instructions, I think, that you give them. That if they want their bio posted by the town, that they have to have it in by whatever date's required, that's all.
I think it couldn't hurt. I guess the thing is that what we can do, regime, is every year we're going to update, every 2 years you're going to update the dates, I think, in that candidate handbook, because I think the candidate handbook does have some specific dates in there. I think we can just add that. So it's not a big deal. It's just, I think that, I think there's some stuff that I think that makes a lot of sense. But I understand how, I asked Regine to put this together because this was Rich's, this is part of what Rich put together on the last one. And I wanted to make sure that we addressed it all because it was just so many things that, like, I just wanted us to go back to the original document that this kind of started everything off and then make sure we addressed everything. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Well, this brings up a really good point. The bios have been accepted in the past and made available to the public. So we should let the candidates know that they can do that and where they're going to then be posted. And I also did not put in the handbook, now that I remember it, anything about tables and chairs on the day of.
Yes. Okay.
I have a question. My hand is raised. I agree that the candidate bio should be, so that we don't skip over that should be in the handbook because so the public can also know once the town posts it about their candidate. And it is something that we have done in the past and it went over very well. The way that, like I said, like the community and residents can get to know their candidates. Because we also give a timeline like we have here, but we don't have to put the timeline in the handbook. We can just say that it's part of the overall package that we request that the candidates submit a bio. Because we also have a count as well. When we did that last, and the 2 times that I have run, we have done this as well. So I think it's a good idea, and we don't have to put the time because, like our clerk said, the times are going to change. And Mr. Ketchback said they're going to change as well. So I'm in agreement that we should keep the candidate bios and also include that in the handbook.
But to be clear, we are not requiring them for bios. Am I right, Soli? Because we cannot require that.
No, what I would just say is that if you're going to submit one, this is when it's due by.
Well, we usually, as the Supervisory Board of Elections, we usually request it.
Yeah, and I'm more concerned about it getting into the handbook, which I think we've agreed it's going to go into, just so candidates know,
Right.
just by looking there, that they can get their bio published for them as part of the process.
Yep, perfect.
Okay, so the next one is ballot information for the draft ballot sent to the election machine ballot vendor. You're using machines this time?
We used machines last time. Yeah, we used machines.
Okay, then that's going to be kind of between you and the vendor as to when that they need it by. That'll be part of a conversation that Regine has and the board has.
Yeah,
That's-
I think that's why, again, this is in the internal procedures, so that we have it documented. So this is an internal, these are things that we can say year to year consistently. That's why she has it there.
Yeah.
So this is not something really this is for the board to see, Sue Ellen, us, but this timeline is something that we're creating. We want to let you know, this is how I'm going to do it next year. at this date, I'm gonna have these ready. I'm gonna have the bios, hopefully everybody will have their bios in on this date. I plan on having the absentee ballots available on this date. This is our internal policies that we're doing here to make sure that everything is done on time.
And the only caveat I would put to that is that the date by which the ballot information needs to get to whatever vendor you're using is going to be set by them. So that is a cooperative process. That's all.
Yeah, that's why I kind of gave them a couple of days in between, but that's my plan, to make them do it by this date if they want to be our vendor.
Okay. Well, yeah, but you're gonna have to talk to them, see what they say, you know, one or the other. And then this one, the draft ballot was emailed to me for review. I mean, you want to get rid of the me, but just whatever date it is that they're gonna get it back to you. It would be vendor returns ballot to clerk for review.
To clerk for review. Generalize that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, the rest of that looks okay.
You want to keep going?
Sure.
This is the qualification of candidates that we've
And a
been
lot of
through.
this, yeah, a lot of this we went over last time and it's all cleaned up and thank you. It looks a lot better. This did get moved from 6 to 5, which is good. There are two subheadings here. One is when it comes into the clerk's office, if it's clear that a form's missing or it's obvious there's something missing, you can get right back to them and say, this is missing. Okay. And then once the Board of Supervisors and the Ethics Commission reviews, then you would notify the candidate at that point, again, if there's anything missing. So there's two places really. With the first one, it's when you receive it, when the clerk receives it, if it's obvious there's something that's missing, you would tell the candidate right away. And then after the review by the Board of Supervisors and the Ethics Commission, you would pass on that information again to the candidate about anything that's missing or still missing. And then everything looks like it's in line in terms of the timeline there. Okay. Then we come down to, if you can go back up a little bit from bottom of page 4. This from here on is new. This wasn't part of this last time. And this is the part that I said we were really,
These were internal policies that I believe the board went through twice before I was here, Michelle, in May and July, I believe. And these were
those were ones that we had
done in.
These are the ones that you guys reviewed back in the day when we went. That we did these back in May, and you made all the changes.
What is a perfect voter?
So that was the question of the fact that if we that we made sure that the applications, that when we did the mail-in ballots, that that everything was in place. And it's like, here it is, like, how are we going to handle address? Those were some of the questions we had, but that's what we looked at for the issuance of ballots for mail-in ballots. Because we didn't have a process, and we looked at College Parks, and you guys agreed that we would use these for we would use something like this so that we could make sure that we stamp, and we had a process, because before we didn't have a process on how we took them and how we did everything. And so that was what to perfect voter application, just make sure we reviewed it, we made sure everything we had was on it, and we had the application, which should we attach the application, which we did not change from before for mail-in ballots because, or absentee, the absentee application. Sorry, I'm using both the terms, but we use absentee here. And maybe we can, College Park used the word perfect voter. I mean, we could just put ballot issuance and take out the word perfect voter because I think that's. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
it would be absentee ballot issuance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, absentee ballot issuance.
Or you could say a valid voter. I don't know, or just take out.
Well,
I think you just take it out because it just makes we just want to make sure that we had a process that when we
Okay.
got them, how do we handle them? Yeah, no, I agree with you guys. It's just that's what I'm just trying to explain what this is.
Okay, and this is only this piece is just for absentee ballots. Because otherwise somebody, you don't give them issue the ballot except when you get to the, you get to
Right, this is just for absentee ballots, correct. This was just a process to kind of to put through for absentee ballots because we didn't have one, and these are all the internal procedures on it. So maybe if we put absentee ballot issuance, when you're finished.
So put absentee.
And then, yeah, absentee ballot issuance.
Yeah.
And that could all be, you can make it in caps later.
Yeah, I'll fix it.
So I did not, I don't think I was part of this discussion about the ballots.
Yeah, this was an internal procedure just so that we
Yeah.
had one. And we got this one from College Park and looked through it and like how we're going to handle address labels. I mean, we have that listed still, but these are just the steps so that we have some internal procedures. I think the one thing that we could probably that we could look at to try to continue to do this. I wanted to put something together that addresses it. I don't think that we had a problem in the last election with how we issued absentee ballots. It was more the fact that we just wanted to make sure we covered everything. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. And like we've noted, they have very specific procedures there. They certainly do. So, and how are we going to handle the address label for the mail out envelope?
That was because we still need to do that because we're still developing if we're going to use if we're going to use a vendor to do it, if we're going to just issue them. Currently, we just issue them, but I have that still as an issue that we will go through. I think the imperfect thing about the internal procedures is that they're just internal procedures so that we can have a running set of notes. And I'm not sure if we should have anything in yellow when we send them to council
No.
regime. I think we should just probably just put that we will instead of maybe say how we're going to do that, it's more the fact that we will either use, we will use an address list, we will an address and list and verify the address. So whatever, we just need to come up with an answer for it and put it in there. But it's more the fact that we just wanted to have this internal set of procedures so that we can document what we're doing. And as things change, we'll go back to the board as the board, as we get to these things, because we may have to update it. But this is not something that has to be formally adopted. These are just more internal procedures that kind of say this is what we're doing with these things that we didn't have in place. And I think, and as I understand it, College Park does not have these adopted by any kind of body. These are just more of their running notes in regards to things. And so the internal procedures are more like internal things that we are just kind of keeping notes on and keeping up with. And I think that's how they will get, that is how we're going to present them to the council, because things change and things evolve, but it's sort of our note-taking system. But I think the evidence that we want to show the council and want to show for the board is that there is a thoughtful process on how we're looking at all these things and how that information is being kept, so that if there are any issues, we're updating those policies and making changes.
Are we ready for questions
Yeah, sure.
on page Oh, page 5. So just for clarification, at the end of page 5, collections from the PO box will end on October 6, 2005 at 7 p.m. PO, what's that? Just I
We
might
don't
think
have
I
a PO
know, but
box. That needs to be
That's
removed.
this
Oh.
should be,
The town hall.
this should be this one of them should be town hall, one of them should be hopefully the community center.
Okay, so you'll
And
make
I
that
th-
correction, and then
I'm
another
sorry.
point of clarification.
I didn't understand the answer there. There's no PO box
Right.
that you can collect from. Okay, so that gets deleted. And there's something else.
The drop
We're-
boxes should still be there.
Yeah, we're gonna
Lady.
put the community center.
No.
No,
All
Did I
drop-
do it wrong? I'm sorry, did I do it? I apologize. I did it
Yeah,
wrong.
wait, stop. Let's stop for a second. Let's go back to what the question was. So
Got
the
it.
drop boxes are all the same, right? So we'll send out 2 different people to the drop boxes. If there's one, if we have 2, or if we just have one at town hall, depending on how you guys make that decision. I think we're recommending 2, so there one be at the community center, one will be at the town hall. Those will both be checked at 7 p.m. Collections from the mail will also be collected, the US mail, any US mail ballots. Instead of drop boxes, just say any US mail ballots will be also part of that. Does that make sense? Any received by US mail that day.
Where's that going?
As a second
That's
line,
gonna
I
be-
think,
Okay. In lieu of what's there now.
correct.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and then I have another comment. The chair, the next line, the chair of the BOSO should swear in collection judges. Who are these collection judges? I'm just wondering, I may think I know. I'm just asking.
No, I think that, remember, Councilwoman, Miss Lundy, you mentioned that you wanted the people who
The
were,
election judges.
they're not called collection, is it say collection judges? Where does it say collection judges?
It's in
Well,
that.
not-
Yeah.
Scroll up again, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm trying.
Not page 5 at the end of that page 5.
Yeah, collection judges, that's what it says.
No, it shouldn't be the word collection judges. It's the fact that there was a thought that the people that collected the ballots in general should be sworn in. So that is town staff.
Yeah.
It's not collection judges. Let's not give them a title. We're just saying staff that is collecting, because that would be is either the deputy town clerk, or the town clerk will be those people that are making the collection, or we would have someone sworn in who is a town staffer that's doing it. So let's say Ray, for an example, would be a town staffer that might be sworn in to collect stuff.
Okay, and then point of clarification also, not only those persons, but anyone who's dealing with this election, all of us, canvassers, we all should be sworn in.
Correct, but this is not the section for it.
Correct.
I agree with you.
I got you.
Let's put that.
Okay.
Let's put that in a separate portion. This is in regards to the
Perfect.
collection procedure. Your
Okay,
first
wonderful.
comment was about the collection. You
Yep.
know,
One.
so let's find the
Okay,
right place to put
wonderful.
those people.
Can we go?
Gotcha. Okay.
Can we go back up to the top of 5? Or the ballot packet? So you have your mail out envelope, which is clear, the return envelope with the tracking control number. So that then when you have that, you can check it off when it comes back in that it's been received. The oath envelope may want to combine.
So the question is about the oath envelope, is that on the College Park one, they have it printed on the back of the envelope itself, and people sign on the envelope, and we do not need a separate, that was the issue,
Right.
is that those oaths were missing. So that's why we want to put the note, we may want to combine, because that's something that we need to look into and then provide that to the board to look at different options on how to deal with the oath, because the oath was something that was missing. Ms. Lundy, I know that you have your hand up.
I'm sorry, let me take it down.
But that was the issue there, was the fact that, Sue Ellen, that the oath was missing from some of the ballots, as my recollection
Yeah.
of the last
Yeah.
election is that some people mailed their ballot
Yeah.
without an oath, right? Okay. So we need to make sure that the oath is easy. And I believe that the reason why that College Park has on the ballot itself envelope the oath, and then people sign the back of that. And if that's unsigned, then the ballot is not valid. And then if it is signed, then you're all done. And there's not an extra piece of paper.
Yeah, you don't have to open anything.
Mhm.
It's just either it's good or it's bad at that point.
Exactly. So that was the thing. And so we want to figure out the number 6 ballot, the oath, is that needs to probably be, it says oath envelope. So that will then combine everything together, because we don't need a separate, because we had 2 separate envelopes. We had a ballot, we had the ballot, and we had an oath envelope, and then we had an envelope outside. So we had 2 separate items. And then the other part is that when they were counting, some oaths were separated from their ballots, and we're not sure which ballots had oaths and which ones didn't. That was the other issue, correct?
And yes,
Correct.
you have a number of things. And then, well, actually, the value of that also is if somebody drops off their ballot and it gets checked in, and it's say a week or so before the election, and you see they haven't signed the oath, it's a bad ballot, and who received that ballot, so you could let them know, you didn't sign your oath. If you want your
Yeah.
ballot to come in, you got to come in and do it.
Well, the question I have
Correct.
on
You
that,
have a cure
Sue,
process.
yeah, I
Yeah.
guess the question I have on that, Sue Ellen, was that we were taking in, and that goes to that collection procedure. We were taking in the ballots. We were not disturbing them. We were banding them and just counting the number we had for each day and putting the thing on it, so that all those ballots would then go to the board the day of election. We were not doing any kinds of checks, because we'd have to open up the outside ballot to know that the person did it. So do you want us to do that as a board?
No, well, what you're going to have, if you have the oath on the outside of the return envelope, you're going to know
Correct.
if the oath has been signed. And if you see it's not been signed, that whatever's inside there is going to not be counted because you don't have the oath. So
I
you
believe
could
they
let
actually use a separate envelopes. They still use one envelope for the return, and then there's an envelope that you put the sealed ballot in, and then that ballot has the thing that envelope has it. We'd have to open up the envelope that we received to do that. Do you see what I'm saying? So there's an outside envelope, and then there's the return, then there's the ballot that's in its own envelope with the signature. So is the board authorizing us to just open up all of those and then just make sure there's a ballot in there, or do we just leave it sealed?
No, that's not what I'm suggesting. You should not be looking at
Correct.
any ballots.
Okay. So you're saying that the oath should be printed on the main outside envelope, the very outside envelope,
But I
not
thought
on the
that's
inside.
what you were saying. I thought that's what you were saying they had done to get rid of that oath envelope.
They have it printed on the envelope that the ballot's in. So the ballot is in a separate envelope. So there's an outside envelope, and then there's a ballot envelope, and on that ballot envelope there's a portion for the people to sign.
Okay.
So there's no way for the collector to see unless they opened up the outside envelope and then just had ballots there. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah.
Well,
How-
if there's a
Okay.
way to have something inside the main envelope that you open it up and what you've got is an envelope that's got a ballot in it that's sealed and the oath is on the outside. You could
Correct.
open up the first envelope, and so you can see that the affidavit, I'm sorry, that the oath has been signed there. And then
Yes.
you still have everything together. Your staff has not seen how people are voting. You already know that there's an absentee ballot coming in because you have a check, you have a number for it and everything. That would seem to be something you might want to think about.
So
doing.
then let's go further down on this collection procedure, because the collection procedure itself does talk about how staff is supposed to deal with it. So can you scroll down further? I think that's where it's dealt with.
And before we go forward, I have a comment. And I agree with Sue Ellen, and we need to look at this and have a cure process as a part of this too, because think about your own ballot that you get from the state. You have the ballot in a separate envelope, but you, like you say, you can see. That's what we do at the Board of Elections. On the outside of the main envelope of the packet, everything is included, but you can see the, date and all that good stuff like Sue Ellen was saying. So just think about your own when you get your own ballot. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because we don't want to deter, we want to make sure everybody has a chance to vote. And if they didn't sign, we want to be able to call them so they can have a cure process. They can come in and sign that ballot.
Okay, so let's talk about it in the next page then, because that's where we need to get to it. Can you scroll down? So it says here, okay, so each time, so what we would do is that this is actually just dealing with the teams of who would do it and how we would get into the boxes. Does anybody have any issues with this? So the 2-person team will go to the boxes, and these are the points of the security. I just want to kind of get through this, and then we can get to that issue of the ballot collection.
Oh, right. Yes, Ms. Hitchback. And I'm sorry to go back real quick because you always can work with the vendor to make sure they give us what we need with respect to our ballot.
Yes, that's what
All
I'm
right.
saying. We can order whatever you guys want from this, but I just want to make sure that I want to make sure that our policy reflects what you're asking for. Does that make sense? Because if the policy is that
Yes.
when we collect the ballots, we open up the outside, I need to put that someplace. Does that make sense? I need to be able to put that someplace in this policy. So I just want to make sure that this page is okay with regarding how we collect just the general collection on this page. Is that okay, the way this is stated?
I'm still reading.
Yeah.
I'm reading as well.
Mhm. So this is how we deal with it in here. Where we
Yeah,
open up this
so
deal.
are you going to be telling your voters that they can ask for an absentee ballot by putting an application into a Dropbox?
We
Because
are
that's
not.
what
That's what this
Right.
that's what this allows for. So we can. I
it
think that we
does.
would. Yeah, I think we take that out because I think we will only deal with we'll only deal with that. So we'll take out the application issue.
Okay.
I think because I didn't realize that now I'm reading it, it's like I didn't realize that we did. So we had applications in there. I mean, I guess we could, Sue Ellen, because if we start seeing these in the community, people might want to do that. Do you think they would actually put applications in there?
Mhm.
Not unless you tell them. I think people are used to voting that way, but not asking
The
for a ballot
application.
that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. So let's take out the language in regards to the applications because I didn't even catch that, and I think you're right that makes it that is different. So it should only be one zippered bag. I mean, a zippered bag,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's 4 ballots. So that's
So everything says application.
yeah, and we'll take out the applications logged. Well, no,
Yeah,
we can keep the application log, but that's no. I guess you're right. You got to move it from there.
yeah. I'm
But
making some changes too, because you can get rid of some of this numbering and things too. Okay. And do your drop boxes work this way? Do you have them already?
we know we're ordering the same ones they have, so they should work exactly
Okay.
the same. We are ordering the exact same ones.
Okay.
There's only one or two. There's only one company that makes them, pretty much. That makes a lot of them, and we're gonna order the smallest version of it.
Okay. Okay, so you need the first form is useful. The second form, you get rid of because you already have form that you're using. When people come and ask for ballots or write in to ask for them, so you don't need that second form,
So D sub 2 you won't need.
right?
The D? Yeah.
D sub 2. No, D sub 2, number 2.
Yeah, you don't need that. yeah, and I'm making some, I'll send this right over after we have this meeting, so to show you what I would suggest. But we can also get rid of the log for candidate application collection log. No, it's
Yeah, that we're not gonna use that one anymore.
Yeah,
No.
we already said we're gonna do that one.
We're not doing
yeah,
this.
so get rid of that table. Okay, the second one. Count the number of applications. We're not doing that. Get rid of number 1. Just going to
Just
do number 3, which is count the number of ballots in the vinyl bag compared to the number on the ballot custody log. Reconcile any discrepancy from the staff count. Get rid of the Y. Log to validate the account. Okay. Get rid of processing the candidate certification applications.
I'm gonna get rid of that whole section.
Yeah. Okay, get rid of all that.
This
And
is
see,
probably the thing you might want to put in about the cure process.
yeah,
No
I don't know
spelling.
yeah, we're not there. Yeah, we're getting to the end. I don't know. I'm
We're
looking
trying
at
to get
my
to the
own
end to make
version
sure.
here.
I was trying to think of where it fits into Miss Lundy. I'm trying to figure out. I'm sorry, I'm calling you Councilwoman Lundy. It's hard, old habits.
That's okay. You never know what's in my future.
Right. Former Councilwoman Lundy. I'll say that, former Councilwoman Lundy.
You're fine.
But,
Carla is good.
that makes sense. So I think it would be up there. It would be up in that other section. It would be up when we're where we were. Sue Ellen, I think it would just be the fact that because it does say that we open. Can you go back up to that previous page? I'm sorry, regime. Thank you. I think that it's that right there. What was security seal tampering if void, record security seal number, because that's what they actually have a security seal number, which is what we'd be doing with the vendor. Break the seal, stick it to the back of custody log, unlock the Dropbox, review it for ballots, complete the appropriate ballot collection. So I guess what we could do is could we make a number two? Could you make a, so we wouldn't say wouldn't say for ballots anymore. So could there be a number 2 underneath that? So right under D1 is the for complete the appropriate line, and then number 2 is that we would open it and then we would review.
You're not to the clerk yet. You'd go down to 4.
Right,
When
4?
collections are complete, return to the town hall and bring everything to the town clerk.
Okay.
Nobody else gets to do this. Only the town clerk gets to see,
So
just
then
look at those. Yeah,
and then the town clerk would then under number 4, the town clerk would then review it. Number
Yeah.
4. So then
Yeah.
that's where you put the language. So under number 4
Yeah.
is that the clerk will then review and open up to make sure that it's signed or something like that.
well, for one thing, they're gonna check it against the absentee ballot list they already have.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
And then also if it's clear that the oath, the outside of the envelope with oath on it has not been signed, that the voter can get notified. In a number of states, they will send a letter and say your absentee ballot has failed for some reason, this would normally be it. You forgot to do the oath.
Okay, so let me just make sure that I understand how we're doing this, because again, I'm the clerk. So the oath will be on the outside of the envelope or in the inside of the envelope?
Okay.
Because that's very important, because I don't know if
It's on
we
the
should be-
inside. There's 2
Outside.
envelopes. There'll be 2 envelopes. Let's just make it, there'll be 2
Correct.
envelopes. There'll be a mailing envelope that will have the return information that the people will see.
Yes.
And there'll be a ballot will be in its own envelope. And on that envelope is where people will
Correct.
sign.
Okay.
That
So
makes
that
sense?
will be sealed again.
Correct. That'll be sealed
It
again.
should be. So we need
Yes.
to make sure there's instructions
And
as well
then,
to make sure people know to seal it, because people can do that too, isn't it, right?
But that's not our part of your internal procedures. I think when you send out the ballot, there'll be that you might want to, you can put out instructions, ballot instructions for the person. Does that make sense?
We just don't want to see the ballots.
Yeah.
We don't want to touch them at all. That's what I want to make sure. Okay.
No touching,
No.
no touching with ballots.
No
No.
touchy.
the ballot envelope. Yeah. And I'm sorry, that's why I wanted to make sure we stop using the language we're not opening anything. We are viewing, right? Correct. Like with Ms. Hedgepack just made point of clarification. Correct.
But we are open. We're opening the outside envelope.
Yeah, you'd have to, if you're gonna
We
do it
are.
that. There's an outside, from what I understand, the
Yeah.
plan
You'd have to
is
open
that
up,
there will-
you'd have to open up
there'll
one
be an-
envelope. Yeah.
Yeah, an outside envelope which just has the return address of the person and the address to the town hall. And then you can, opening that, there would be the envelope that has the ballot in it.
That has the ballot in it. Yeah.
Outside of that envelope, the oath is on there so that you can see whether the oath has been signed or not. Because that really was the main reason for disqualifications, wasn't it?
Yeah. Because yeah, this is good. We'll get to see all of this from the vendor, because on the envelopes that we get, our stuff that we get from the state, it asks you, did you sign the oath, as a reminder. So it's gonna be very important that we get a good vendor and we view what they are going to send, and we get a chance to see what they have.
Yeah.
Very important that RFP is written properly.
And I think, Ms. Lundy, that what we were going to do is that there are only a couple of companies. There are, I think there are companies that do this and beyond printers. And I think that's where we were going to do. We were actually going to see who the county contracts with for this. And then College Park gave us a vendor that does it. So we will do quotes from that. We might not do an RFP because of the fact that I don't think there's as many people, and people don't really respond to RFPs, but we will contact those vendors and then provide that information in the detail to that, if that makes sense.
And I would only add to that, you also are welcome to check with the state.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Those were the ones that people that are doing it, we would do that. But since the counties conduct the elections for every one of the, areas, the state's not conducting. Each county is doing the
But they're the ones who are, right, but they're the ones who issue the ballots and stuff. So it would be wise to go through them to see, what vendors they're using. Or you can even reach out to the Prince George's County Board of Elections, but
that's what I was going to do, is reach out to the Prince George's County Board of Elections to see who they're using.
Yeah, you can do that.
And College Park gave us their vendor, so we were going to do both. So that's the two that we were going to start with.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So is everybody okay then with, once we do this, does that make sense to everybody right now?
Can Miss Regine read back to us what she has? What was her let me see, is it in the notes for number 4?
Oh, I just wrote down notes so I can write it later. I apologize.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
no problem.
Because I want to be able to make sure I word it correctly. But
what my suggestion on that would be is that the clerk will check the number against the absentee ballots list. There's a designated number for each ballot.
Correct.
And you can check it off as received. And if the oath is not signed, the clerk will notify the voter that their ballot is not valid. And how to correct that.
we are gonna allow them to come in and sign it, or they just have to come vote on the day of election?
They could do either thing, I think. Yes, either thing they could do. They can either validate their ballot by signing the oath, or they could just let it sit as not valid, and then you will know who it was, and then it's not a valid ballot because you had the list and you know who sent it in. And they can just vote on the day. Either way.
Okay. And so that's another thing, because right now we're talking about the cure process for those ballots that have not
Yeah.
been signed.
Right.
So you might also, Michelle, Ms. Hedgepack might want to reach out to the board as well to ask them, because I know we do have a cure process where
Okay.
we give a date and I mean, we give a time period where they can come in to do that. And definitely want to make sure that, during the election time that they don't go past that. But I would also ask that question of our administrator
Yeah,
at the Board of Elections.
of the Board of Elections, yeah. So
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
yeah, Ms. Watson will do all that so that it's as part of our prep process.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm thinking, Jean, if you are making changes on this one, you want to send that out and people could comment.
Yeah, I think that really helps, because then we can make so that we don't have to, we're going to bring this to the council next week. So what we'll do is if I don't want to keep on meeting to do all these, but if you can send any comments or changes to Ms. Watson, we can then get that ready. We have to have this ready by early next week so that we can have it on the agenda ready to kind of show them as a draft. And then what we're also going to be doing is putting together a presentation, just like an overview of where we are and what this process is. And what we'll do is try to get you that PowerPoint very shortly too, so that you can see that. But inviting you to be at the council meeting on the 14th, which I'm hoping that's the right date. Like, yeah, October 14th. Yeah. So that you can also, I think thank you so much, the board, for all the work that you've done, because it's really helped us to get so much of this together for the council. But the bottom line is that what we'd like to be able to do is to to give the council this is where we were. This is where we are from the standpoint of all the work that the board has done to look at the process and really thoughtfully look at some things that we needed to add to the process. And then this is the recommendations, like putting together a candidate handbook, putting together some internal procedures that will be constantly updated, putting together some FAQs, and then also tightening up our timelines in general for the council. And then that's what we're going to bring to them, because I don't think there's much more from this whole process. And you guys, and please let me know if we haven't hit everything.
Yeah, I have a comment. Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you, Michelle, Ms. Hedgepack. So yeah, so I understand that. So since we made so many changes on this document right here, is it possible that the board would be able to either see all of this simultaneously or before it's presented to the council? Because
yes,
remember, the clerk has to go out and speak to the people to get the right stuff, all this language that she has to now do, extra stuff. Thank you so much.
I would say that some of the stuff we're talking about, Ms. Lundy, regarding the actual ballot and all that kind of stuff, I think is working material that we will get to the council, that we will get done as part of this process. I think the big stuff that we will do is we will provide you with the revised draft of this. But like doing the research on how the ballot is going to be at this point is not going to be ready by that date. But what we do need to say is that we are working on the ballot. We will have more meetings to do those kinds of things. But what I think the council wants to do is they want to know, did we address everything that all the things that went wrong, I guess, the things that went right and went wrong. Did we make those, are we making those adjustments? Yes. And then what we still have to say, so we'll have a slide to say work to do, which is researching the new ballot, getting all that together and having that ready. But those are really perfunctory internal procedures that we're working with the board on, and we'll continue to work with the board on. And we can provide them an update in January about the ballot and things like that. So she's got some time to do that, but we got the big stuff done, like the candidate handbook, all these things that we were missing,
and also when you do your presentation, which you do so well, I watch it. I'll be in these council meetings. Make sure you make a point of saying in collaboration with, because I think we have worked well as a team together, staff with the board. So make sure you put that out there. That's the only request I would make, especially if I'm
I
not
was
able to
gonna
be there.
say to you, Miss Lindy, and to Chair Williams and to Miss Saunders, I would actually like to be able to hand off portions of this to you to get your opinions and for you to come up and speak during this to be as a part of this, because this would not be anything. We're really just going to try to organize it, but at the same time, I mean, we can have a quick go through meeting. I mean, we just have to get it all posted by the 9th. I don't mind meeting next week to kind of talk about the presentation, because I feel like it's more beneficial that the board is also giving some of this information that they found and also reporting it, because this isn't our report. This really is your report, but we want to be able to put it together as staff for you so that you can have it in one conglomerate. So we can, I don't mind meeting
So
after
yeah,
we get the
that would
things
be good.
posted on the 9th to meet to talk about the presentation. And
Yeah,
but
you
I
can give us
believe,
a run of show. That would be good.
yeah,
That would be good. Perfect.
I believe that Miss Watson may be out after that, right? Because that's the date, because you're not back on the 10th or 11th, right?
I'm actually back on the 10th.
Okay, so then why don't we make the meeting for the 10th, because we'll have everything posted by the 9th, and we'll have everything together. So Ms. Watson will get you a copy of, we'll work through this week and get this cleaned up. And then what we can also do is then on the 10th, we'll set up another time if this time is okay to kind of go through the presentation and then have portions where the board can, I mean, I don't want to make, they get tired of me talking all the time, but we want to make a presentation that you can, that the board can take as its own.
Is everybody okay with that? For the 10?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. That's a lot of work, and I can't believe we're done at 4 instead of instead of the full time. Is there anything else that we need to go through, Regime, or that we have not done?
Check the agenda. I believe we have everything, but let me double check. Everything on the agenda has been covered, including. Is there anything anybody would like to add for the next meeting? Not the 10th meeting, but the following meeting for the agenda?
I think that the judges, I haven't looked at the judges manual. So
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to look at, I don't have do you have a good judge's manual?
There is one in our shared folder.
Share folder? Okay. So that's, oh yeah, we started that, didn't we? Oh gosh.
Yes. But that
Oh,
just
God.
started. So I guess we can
started
schedule
that.
that for our November meeting.
Yeah, we'll do the November meeting.
okay.
And then, so can we schedule our November meeting for November 5th? Is that okay with everybody?
Whoa,
My calendar.
that's a big day. That's a big day.
That's election day, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. No, we're not doing it in November. It's
Oh,
election
I'm
day.
sorry. Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah. I'm like, we're not doing.
The next will be November 12th or the 19th.
I'm not
Also-
available on the 12th.
The 19th is the day after council meeting.
It's okay with me.
Yeah, that's fine.
19th is fine. November 19th?
It's fine. 19th fine for me. Yeah. I think that's good. And we'll talk
Okay.
about judges. We'll talk about election judges.
Yes.
Okay. And then the 10th, though, 10th of October, we're just going to meet and do run of show on the presentation.
Yes.
And the 10th, is that, what time is that? It works for best for everyone. I'm sorry to. I could do 3 p.m. on the 10th, because I have something that goes right up to 3. If that is okay.
Three is fine with me.
Okay. Great.
Miss-
Then,
Ms. Lundy, will 3 p.m. work for you? If you're speaking, I think you're on mute.
I think she was okay with it. I think we're
I
like,
think
let's
so
just,
too.
and
Yeah,
Chair Williams, is the 10th okay at 3 o'clock?
It's a pretty tight week for me, but I'll try to be back by 3 p.m.
Okay, I'll try to keep it brief if possible, or would it be better if it was earlier in the day?
Not on the 10th, no. Not
Okay.
in 3 o'clock is probably okay, but I'll be out most of that day, doctor's appointments.
Okay.
In fact, the whole week is almost doctor's appointments. But I'll try to be back by 3 p.m. on the 10th.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. I appreciate that. All right, so
and Chair, if
guess-
you're still having problems with the items, I can print everything out for you if you want to pick up a copy of
Okay,
all
I don't have a car, so I won't be able to pick it up. That's why I've been printing them myself.
we can also have
Okay,
Ray
good.
to drop it off within the town. Somebody can drop it to you.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Hey.
appreciated. Thank you very much.
I'm
Okay.
good.
Okay, thanks, Ms. Lundy. I saw your face for a second. Good, we're good. We're glad you're
Yeah.
good. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Okay. I'm in the hospital, so I'm visiting my husband, so that's why I have to log off. But I know we're at the end anyway. So
Thank you
all
very
right. God
much.
bless y'all. Take care.
All right.
Thank
Thank-
you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye.
We're adjourned.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Stop recording. Stop.